like this story. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my review of Doctor Who Colony in Space, the fourth and penultimate Doctor Who story of Doctor Who Season 8, and it's awful. My friend Ollie Payjack, aka Mr. Taz 11, finds it boring, and yeah, it pretty much is. It's at least dull and poorly paced. But on top of that, you've got really, and you know what I was complaining about last time with Claws of Atlas, with this one really dickish character, Chin. Well, this time expand it to nearly half the characters. I mean, yeah, some of them are supposed to be that way, but it's just grinding into my teeth. And then on top of that, you've got a pretty dull, boring story that pretty much doesn't feel that needed halfway through when the proper stuff comes along, you know, the Master. I mean, the first episode, it's a good world builder. It's pretty good at world building, and you get the sense of the threat. But then the next two just feel like they're just wasting your time. I mean, there are some good moments throughout these first three episodes. Like I said, the first one's a pretty decent world builder. But the next two, not so much. And then when the Master finally arrives in part 4, that's when stuff gets good. Actually, part 4 was actually the one that went by the fastest for me. I suppose the stuff in the city was also pretty good. But it's not really working. The stuff with the colonists and the miners, I don't think it's working. I don't really see the point of it, because the Master is supposed to be the main threat. And yet we're focusing on these guys. I mean, for the first half, yeah, it makes sense, because the Master's not turned up yet. But for the second half, you're trying to wrap up a story, but it doesn't quite work. I mean, you could have just wrapped up that story midway through part 4, started part 5, and it wouldn't be that much of a problem, and then you can just focus on Dr. Master stuff, and maybe some stuff with the natives. But oh no, we've gotta still have this fucking minus subplot trying to out these poor innocent colonists who then have to resort to some criminal tactics later on due to these miners being absolute cunts. And I really hate these guys. This Dent and one of the other guys, I just want to punch them several times. I mean, with Chin, I wanted to give him a punch or two. These guys, I want to beat the living shit out of. How fucking horrible they are. And how cunts, and how much of a cunt they are. This other guy, he's actually pretty alright. He helps out one of the colonists and later Joe, and the Doctor, but he's one of the only good of the of those characters, the only good minor character. And you've got a couple of dickish colonists, although I sympathise more with them because they were attacked first. The miners tried to kill them first, so they've resorted to tactics. But as they don't seem to have the authority, the miners and have weaker weapons, the miners keep winning out. And it's only when the colonists trick the miners into thinking they're left but haven't, that's when they finally regain control of the planet. And the legal battle, it would work if everyone wasn't just fighting each other all the time. And I like my action, but there's so many action scenes that aren't needed. There's so many pointless fights and shootouts, and I mean, some of the fisty fights was alright, although I thought the part 6 stuff, we held on it too long when two of the characters were just fighting in the mud. And there was way too many shootouts. You didn't need that last shootout. I really wish the Doctor would have done a Sylvester McCoy in Battlefield and run out into the middle of the battle and shouted, "Stop fighting!" or there will be no battle here. That's what he did in Battlefield. I'm looking forward to that bit when we get to that story. I really want the Doctor to do that again, do what he didn't, he/she did back in Battlefield. I want them to run into the middle of a battle between two fighting people and shout, "There will be no battle today!" and just dance around shouting it, because I want to see that again. I want to see the Doctor do more of that in every incarnation. But no, I think Battlefield is unique in that case. And it wouldn't just be for comedic effect. The Doctor would be pretty serious. He was in Battlefield. So I've taken strong issue with these bits, and they just make up the bulk of the runtime, especially in the first half, and it's just really annoying, really boring, really dull, really... The stuff with the natives, that's good. The stuff with in the city, and all the mastery stuff that happens, all the stuff with the Master, both pretending to be the Adjudicator, and then when he's looking for his Doomsday weapon, and the stuff with him and the Doctor, and showing the Master's TARDIS, that's all pretty good. But it's overshadowed by this other plot. It seems more of a B plot once you get to the Master's, when the Master arrives and he starts looking for the Doomsday weapon. Once he starts doing that, then that plot feels like a secondary story, but it just keeps getting back in the way. I don't want to know anymore. I've gotten so pissed with it. I don't care. I want to see Roger Delgado being awesome, not these cunts and the poor innocent people they're attacking. No, I've had enough of that story. I want to see Roger Delgado trying to find the Doomsday weapon. Please concentrate on that. But no, we got to go back and forth. And if that wasn't bad enough, it gets worse. The story that subplot gets worse throughout parts 5 and part 6, and I really, really take issue with these guys being heartless bastards. The minus people, when they don't care that the ship will blow up on re-entry. They don't care about the colonists, and I take personal insult to that. I find them absolutely fucking horrible. And yeah, maybe that's the point, but I just can't get over it. I think they're absolute cunts. I really... You know what I was saying about wanting to beat the shit out of them? Well, this time I want to get a knife and stab them through the heart. Because, yeah, maybe that's what we're supposed to think, but lo and behold, it just makes my opinion of the story worse. So, yeah. At least the colonists, even when they were going out to do stupid decisions, doing stupid stuff, they were at least likeable. They at least had good reason to do it. Good reason to do it. The miners, oh, we've got the authority. And they cheated. They cheat. They try and kill them. Oh, yeah. I just want to see Roger Delgado trying to find a Doomsday weapon. Is that just so much to ask? At least for the second half. I just want to see Roger Delgado try and find a Doomsday weapon and threaten to use it. And I want to see him and the Doctor having conversations. Not this shit! I mean, we do get those conversation stuff, and we do get Roger Delgado trying to find a Doomsday weapon, but it's relegated to a B-plot because the supposedly B-plot is trying to take over. Oh! Isn't the whole point that the Doctor went here so that he could stop the Master using a Doomsday weapon? Isn't that supposed to be plot number 1? But no, it's been relegated to plot number 2. We even get the Time Lords at the start. They're a bit dull, to be honest. I mean, not exactly the Time Lords from the War Games, or even the ones from Terror of the Autons, or even the ones from the Three Doctors, which is coming up in a few stories' time. God, can't this story do anything right? Well, it can actually. That stuff with the natives in their city. I mean, there was a bit of a daft stuff about them just being a bit savagey when just attacking people for no reason. Hadn't even entered the city yet, guys. I mean, the relationship the natives is fine between the colonists and the natives, although it does become a bit pointless once the miners come in and try and do shit stuff. We've also got this spy from the miners who turns up and pretending to be another colonist who's been attacked by natives and giant lizards. The giant lizards are a photographic projection that the miners use when they're trying to attack the colonists. But it's an unnecessary subplot. You at first think he's probably attacking, even kills a man and attacks a native. He thinks that because he's untrustworthy of the natives and he wants them to be blamed, but then it turns out he's a spy. An alien? No, sorry. A minor spy! Oh god, Twin Dilemma's even better than this. I'm sorry, Twin Dilemma's better than this. And that's pretty shit too. Oh, I at least enjoyed that one more. And all the other stories I previously mentioned. It's just, the story just... But the climax is... No, the climax is bad. It's with that unnecessary shootout. The stuff before that's actually pretty good, with the Master being knocked down a few pegs by that little alien leader guy, and the Doomsday weapon being the Doctor self-destructing the Doomsday weapon. But in the end, it just... you could have lost this story, and you would have only have lost some great Master Doctor scenes, and Joe's first trip in the TARDIS to an alien planet. You would have only lost a little bit. Honestly, if going back into time and space means more stories like this, then I'm fine that we stay on Earth for the next couple of stories in this era. Thankfully, this is going to be the weakest of the Jon Pertwee era, so we're going to get this out of the way, and then we're going to get better, including more time and space stories that are much better. But yeah, and some Earthbound ones that are not quite as good as the last couple, the previous 7. But lo and behold, this story just sucks. This just, it's boring, it's teeth gritting, it's annoying, it's uninteresting. The A plot is relegated to become a B plot. The B plot, which is less interesting, becomes the A plot, and half the characters you don't want to watch. I'll say this: the acting is pretty good, especially for our main characters, but I don't care about the side characters then after part 4, because I just want to see the Master trying to find this Doomsday weapon. I just want to see that. I don't care about the other plot anymore. I just want to see this. Alright? Just wrap it up. Ugh, it's annoying. It's boring, and I was very, very annoyed when watching this story. I just couldn't take this. Couldn't take it. This is definitely Malcolm Hulke's weakest story. If the Space Pirates was Robert Holmes' weakest story, if the Space Pirates was not Robert Holmes' finest hour, it was actually his weakest hour, or weakest 2.5 hours, this is Malcolm Hulke's. This is Malcolm Hulke's weakest 2.5 hours. And considering he has stories that are longer, that are better than this, Doctor and the Silurians, his co-writing of the War Games with Terrence Dicks, which is 7 and 10 parts respectively, in his contributions to Ambassadors of Death, which is overall a 7-parter. I think he might have helped out with 6 of the episodes, though, but considering the overall story is 7. So, the colony in space, this just sucks. I don't even think he writes any shorter than 6-parters. He's a very 6 or more parter writer. But anyway, so Colony in Space. I originally gave it a 4 out of 10 originally, but after this I am going to give it a 3 out of 10. reason it still has 3 is because we still have some great Dr. Master scenes. Some of the stuff with the natives and their planet is interesting. The first episode has some pretty decent world building, and episode 4 actually goes by pretty quickly for me. And we get some pretty funny scenes with Nicholas Courtney as the Brigadier at the start and the end of the story. But the rest of it just sucks. And also, Jo is whining at the start of part 1 when she's in the TARDIS. The TARDIS is supposed to be something people look forward to going inside, look forward to having an adventure in. And Jo is just whining about it. And she's scared. I don't understand why. At least I don't understand why she gets annoyed that she has to go with the Doctor in Curse of Peladon, because she was going to go out with Mike Yates. I don't think on a date, just going out. I think maybe to the theatre. But I can understand her annoyance of being dragged along to have an experiment with the Doctor in that story. I'm not sure what happens in the Mutants. I think they're just playing around again. In both cases, that's 2 further missions by the Time Lords, although we don't see those bits, we just know it here. Yeah, and then she just joins gradually after 3 Doctors. But anyway, this story just sucks. I can't stand this story anymore. That's it. Again, that's another never again. That's another never again, unless I absolutely have to. Along with Space Pirates, Dominators, Romans, and maybe the Ice Warriors. That's another never again, unless absolutely necessary. But you know, sometimes quite a few of these pretty shit stories I've had to watch. They've usually been followed by something brilliant. Not always. Romans was followed by Web Planet, which wasn't that fun on a rewatch. But then again, sometimes the fantastic ones are preceded by other great ones, like Tomb of Simon is preceded by Evil of the Daleks, and Evil was a really great story as well. But usually we get a terrible story, and it's followed up by a really great one, such as the Space Pirates followed by the War Games, for example. And we're going to be getting that again, because after this shitfest, I am glad to say that I am going to be watching one of my all-time top 10 favourite Doctor Who stories. We're finally here. Next time, it's The Demons, or The Daemons. And I can't fucking wait for this one. So next time, The Daemons, or The Demons. I feel much better now that I know I'm going to be watching that next. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Nicholas Payne Retro YouTube channel. I mean...